Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Nerdy Doll Creations. I'm Chris and I will be working on a mermaid. This doll is Posea, I'm not sure how to say it, Posea Reef. You'll see I'm picking out some colors here. I'm using Mr. Super Clear. At some point in the distant past, I had kind of started a repaint on her and thought maybe I ought to get her finished. So because she's blue, I went ahead and used blue to do my sketch. One that's fairly close but not too far off her own skin color, in case I made a mistake. I believe I used that Pit Pastel white pastel pencil to block in her eye shape. But again, she's been sitting around for a while, so I can't really recall. As you can see, I already blushed her face, and later on you'll see I blushed her body as well using, I believe they're the Mungo soft pastels. I don't have pan pastels in these colors, so I believe I used the Mungo pastels for this. And just because it's so appropriate, I have a fluffy brush that has a mermaid handle, just for fun. You'll see that was the first layer. Mrs. Super cleared her face. And I used those Mungo pastels to try to give her eye color, her pupil color here. One eye is pink and orange, or pink and coral, and then the other one's orange and green. And it had a bad reaction with the Mr. Super Clear for some reason. Possibly because it was just too thick. Normally I really spread out, really fade out all the pastels I use. They're not very thick, I guess is the right word, and I really packed it in on her eyes there. So here in a little bit you'll see right here that she had some issues once the Mr. Super Clear went on. I'm trying to draw some fishy type eye pupils that aren't really round. They're kind of a funky, almost teardrop shape. I was looking at some photo references here to get that shape. I didn't want her to look too human, so no eyebrows, no eyelashes, just the nice dark outline of the eyes, and of course, blue lips, and I did outline her pupils in the dark green here, which I thought really lent itself quite well. There's a sneak peek of her hair, another layer of Mr. Super Clear, and I tried out these 3D puffy paints for her eyes in the neon colors, green, yellow, orange, and pink. And this dotting tool I used to fill in her eyes. I had kind of scraped off the bits of chalk pastel that were kind of flaking off anyway, and then redid them. So pink and orange in one eye, yellow and green in the other. And then I plotted out where I wanted her dots to go. Her body is covered in dots, and I used this pencil to plot out those dots. Sorry, I'm off camera here just for a second. I decided to have pink general in the middle of her face, middle of the forehead, middle of the nose, middle of the chin, and then fade on either side with orange, and then yellow, and then green on the very outside of her face with by her ears, temples, etc. I'm literally wiping off the dotting tool there after every couple of dots, just so that they stay fairly uniform. They're not perfect. Once they're dry, another coat of Mr. Super Clear, actually several coats of Mr. Super Clear, because then her face was done aside from glossing her eyes and lips. Once again, I decided to dot her body, she's got those lovely dots all over her, and I just want to emphasize those, make her really look like some kind of under the ocean creature, some sort of sea monster almost. Her tail there is made out of, or is, sculpted look like kelp or seaweed, and I wanted to give that some emphasis. So I continued using that 3D Puffy paint in those super bright colors. I faded the tips of her tail there with the pink, and then down farther into the orange, and then yellow, and then green in the middle where my thumb is holding her. Where I'm holding her with my left hand there. And then going backwards up to the top to her waist, and it'll, back into the yellow, then the orange, and then the pink at her waistline. I decided last minute to go ahead and give her face back her shimmers. All the Mr. Super Clear and layers of shading, blushing and highlights and stuff kind of got rid of that shiny quality, and I wanted to bring it back, so I put on just a nice generous bit of shimmer. It's Acrylic powders. And last coat of Mr. Super Clear for that. There's her tail. Like I said, it was faded. Her dots, I kind of followed each line of dots with the same one color on her chest and back, and then on her arms I started at pink at the top and down into green at her hands. So now you can see what her hair looks like with this face up. Like I said, she's been sitting around a while, so her hair has been wrapped up in this stuff for a while too, or wrapped up in the burrito, I guess I should say. I do like the reveal here. This is pretty cool. And there it is. In this studio type lighting, her hair really glows. The fuchsia and the purple at the bottom, not quite so much as the green, highlighter yellow, orange, and hot pink. The coral color that's kind of almost red doesn't quite glow as much, but it's still pretty. At that point, I used my hairdryer to warm up her head just a little bit so the face up wouldn't crack as I put her head back on. And there she is in her full glory. Hopefully you guys don't mind nudity, because she was not getting anything covering up those dots. Here I am with my UV lamp, and now you can really see how cool this looks. Her hair glows, her skin glows, the dots, her tail, everything. Her eyes really glow. I was really quite happy with how her face turned out. Actually, how well she turned out. So here I am. Instead of using normal gloss, I decided that I needed her eyes to be a little more puffy, a little more fishy, I guess, And I use UV resin, a nice dollop in one eye, cure it with that UV lamp, or UV LED lamp, sorry about that. And then her other eye, and then her lips. I decided to name this doll Niyoni, which means neon in Amharic, if you can believe Google Translate, that is. And here she is in her final pictures. I hope you like her as much as I do. Give my video a thumbs up if you want, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!